Alan, I can tell you that there's a way around those very expensive COVID-19 quarantine hotel costs, those $1,000 for 3-night package deals that so many people have been complaining about. Basically, what you do is you say, I don't have the money. Now, the woman in our story tonight had the money, and she wanted to pay for that reservation, but there was a glitch, and so she and others didn't have to.
By having a reservation does not mean that you're going to get a room.
The pitfalls of coming home to a quarantine.
That's not what I signed up for when I came back to Canada, and I did everything by the book.
We've agreed not to identify this Ontario woman who returned earlier this month. She spends part of the year in the south because her home here isn't winterized. She's concerned about getting in trouble with the government for speaking out. The woman had a confirmed reservation and agreed to pay more than $1,000 for the mandatory quarantine package. But when the reserved room wasn't ready and other hotels were booked, she was sent by bus to a government-controlled one.
I said, where am I? And they said, we can't tell you. And I said, why can't you tell me where I am? And they said, we're not supposed to tell anybody.
They'd taken her here to the Hilton, one of 2 government hotels at Toronto Airport. They'd rather not advertise. It's behind metal fencing and security 24/7. The woman spoke to us during her quarantine, 2 days after testing negative for COVID-19, when travelers at other hotels could have left legally.
And I'm still in my room and waiting for a quarantine officer to release me from the facility here. I mean, it feels like I'm held against my will.
She says she's not against quarantines, but says she shouldn't be housed along with travelers who tested positive for COVID-19. Were brought to this facility. She showed us government warnings in the room not to disclose her location or take any pictures. She did both. And while she was willing to pay $1,000 to quarantine at the other hotel, she's not required to pay here, nor is anyone else brought here.
Once you go into these facilities, you do not pay for anything. The public needs to know that this is being done.
We asked the Public Health Agency of Canada a series of questions last Friday, and again today. They've not gotten back to us with any answers. The bottom line on all of this is if you come back into the country and say you can't pay, they will accommodate you at one of these hotels, but you'll have to stay there for 14 days under the kinds of rules that woman talked about. Again, she said she was prepared to pay. She didn't want to have to stay after the negative test result came down, but this is the way it is in so many of these government facilities right now.